We're going to continue with thesis presentations now. Next up, we have Cassidy Toole. Cassidy is a senior biology major, and the title of her thesis is Food of the Past for the Health of the Future, the Benefits of a Paleolithic Diet in College Students, and Cassidy's advisor is Dr. Lisa Lacosta. Thank you.
Hi everyone. So if I told you that eating like a caveman would help you lose weight, you'd probably look at me like I was crazy, because eating like a caveman typically isn't seen as the most flattering form of eating. However, when examining the Paleolithic diet, we're examining how close our genome is to our ancestors. Our genome is almost over 99% identical to what the cavemen or hunter-gatherer ancestors were. A healthy diet is one that matches our genome. And when we look at just how different our diet is from our ancestors of the Paleolithic era, we see marked differences. For example, they would gather their meat from hunting animals in the wild and gather their fruits and vegetables from the vegetation that they had around them. Therefore, when we go to the grocery store, we're probably not going to be hunting any animals or trying to gather any of these fruits and vegetables. We're trying to most likely find something in a can or something microwavable that we're able to gather as fast as possible to make for the kids before running them to sports practice. I know that's what a lot of people are doing. Therefore, when we look at how the typical American diet is comparing, we have a lot more sugar and a lot less carbohydrates from these vegetables and fruits. In comparison, the typical Paleolithic person would be eating 56% of their diet made of carbohydrates from fruits and vegetables, whereas we're only eating 16%. Also, we're eating 15% of our diets made up of sugars, and most of these sugars are processed, whereas they would only eat 2 to 3% of their diets with sugars, and their sugars were coming from honey or maple syrup or other natural sources. So you can see the very large contrast in how our diets differ. Food associated with the paleo diet provides the body with nutrients that we're lacking from all of our processed foods. If you think about where our foods are coming from, we're having agricultural-based foods that are sprayed with pesticides or genetically modified. Our meats are being shot up with antibiotics or fed grain to plump them up. So we are having a very different outlook on what we are originally designed for, what our bodies were made for. Therefore, I wanted to look at the short-term benefits, and there have been a lot of research on both short-term and long-term benefits of the Paleolithic diet. In short term, which is what my study looked at most exclusively, was weight loss. And any diet, Paleolithic or not, where there was an increased protein and decreased carbohydrates, most often showed a significance in weight loss. Also, there was a regulation of glycemic index. There are a lot of doctors and health professionals that are seeing great results for diabetic patients, both type 1 and type 2 diabetes. And so this is being used for hyperglycemic, hypoglycemic, and just day-to-day people who are experiencing the highs and low crashes of eating a high sugar and high carbohydrate diet. Also, we've seen a lowering of blood pressure in a short period of time. And this can also help with the longevity and the long-term effects in terms of decreasing cardiovascular disease. This is one of the #1 killers in America right now, and other chronic problems such as kidney disease and different chronic diseases. There's a decrease in inflammation, and this can be autoimmune diseases, allergies, a decrease in joint pain, and we've also seen increased energy levels. I know a lot of people would be very excited if they woke up with decreased joint pain and increased energy levels, as well as losing weight. Therefore, I wanted to examine this because college students are also looking for these same benefits. I wanted to make sure that my research was well-rounded, and so I did find a detractor with one study that warned that it's almost impossible to eat like a caveman in today's society, and that some of the foods that you would most likely eat are low in iron and niacin and similar nutrients. However, most of what you're eating on the Paleolithic diet is things like red meats or leafy green vegetables, which are high in iron. So when I tried to examine more into this study, I didn't find a lot of validity with it. College students are definitely looking to lose weight. In one study, 83% of female college students said that they had dieted or were currently dieting in an effort to lose weight. And this is a problem that's facing a lot of Americans right now. So I wanted to look at college students because this is the first time that we're out on our own. This is the first time you don't eat just what mom cooks for dinner or dad cooks for dinner. And this is the first time you get to decide if you want to have ice cream for dinner. Therefore, I wanted to see how informing students, and a lot of students just don't know what to eat or what's available for them. And so rather than telling them what they couldn't eat, I wanted to develop a study that could tell them what they could and what would be the most healthful, and to use dining resources. Dining resources was extremely helpful in coordinating these Paleolithic options for dinners every night, as well as mapping out Romo's and the calf and every other avenue that I could to try to make this as easy and most effective as possible. This was one of the forms that was given to the students who were interested in the Paleolithic diet, and this was what was trying to be targeted so that people had a constant reference to look at. It shows the food you eat as much as you want. The meats, vegetables, fruits, nuts, healthy oils and fats. A lot of time when people hear fat, they think stay away from it, but if it's the correct fat, it's actually going to give your body long-lasting energy, and that's going to help you lose weight. Also, we wanted to stay away from grains, dairy, soda, fruit juices, beer, artificial sweetener, sugar, candy, energy drinks, a lot of what makes up the college student's diet. So it was hard for a lot of people, but in the end, they said that it was really beneficial and they really enjoyed the results. There was two sets of variables that I examined. My primary hypothesis believed that by instituting a Paleolithic diet, there would be an increase in weight loss, a decrease in BMI levels, and a decrease in blood pressure, with secondary hypothesis of an increased energy level, decreased joint pain, and decreased skin inflammation. Students were notified through Facebook. I used a lot of Facebook social media sources to try to get the information out there. And also, whenever school began, trying to send out emails. Teachers were very helpful in talking to their classes and trying to get students involved. And as I said, dining services helped to cooperate. So after obtaining IRB approval, I was able to start an information session for anyone who wanted to attend to try to get the information out there. If they still were interested in participating in the study, they were invited to the first weigh-in session. At this weigh-in session, we gave them a survey to fill out that was date of birth and all of the different demographics. So gender, age, whether they lived on or off campus, their year of schooling, whether they were an athlete, to try to look at how these different results might affect the level of the weight loss. So then their height, weight, blood pressure, and BMI were calculated, and they were asked to rate their joint pain, their energy levels, and their average skin inflammation. Now, when I say skin inflammation, I mean acne, rashes, eczema, or any kind of skin ailment that might be bothering them that might be food related. And these methods were then repeated for the weigh-in sessions 2 and 3, and the results were calculated using VMware IBM SPSS version 22 to develop a statistical analysis. So for the sake of time, I'll go through all of my demographics and some of the results rather quickly. The age of participants ranged between 18 and 21. They were mostly female. They were mostly seniors, but we did have a range from various levels of schooling. And most lived on campus, but there were some that lived off campus. The frequency of exercise and whether they were an athlete or not gave us another aspect to look at to see if they were more likely to lose weight than other people. And finally, of the final participants, we saw how many were in the normal, overweight, or obese BMI range to see how that would affect them. So as you can see, there was significance. There was a significant decrease in weight. The average weight decreased from about 166.7 pounds to 162.7 pounds. Changes in BMI also decreased similarly. A change from 26.3 to 25.6. Energy level increased, with the average being a 5.96 at weigh-in 1 to an 8.12 at weigh-in 3. And joint pain also decreased, with the average being a 3.75 to begin with and a 1.92. Changes in inflammation was a similar decrease. As you can see, there was less of a decrease between 2 and 3, but there was still significance. The level started out at 3.34 and decreased to 2.48. Remember, this is on the 1 to 10 scale. So this was 1 being minimum joint pain, 10 being maximum. Systolic and diastolic blood pressure did not show significance. So this may have been because of the fact that it was a short period of time, and often you don't see changes in blood pressure in that short of period of time. Also, we're looking at college students who mainly don't see signs of hypertension, and so a lot of the results showed significance in the hypertension, and people who were already experiencing high blood pressure, they saw a reduction. So the original was 117, and by blood pressure 3 was 116, so there was a slight decrease, but it wasn't enough to show significance. So in conclusion, the primary hypothesis of a decrease in BMI and an increase in weight loss were demonstrated, and however, that the blood pressure was not demonstrated, the decrease in blood pressure. Also, all 3 of the secondary hypotheses, an increase in blood pressure, decrease in joint pain, and decrease in, increase in energy level, decrease in joint pain, and decrease in skin inflammation were demonstrated. The athletes did not show significant weight loss and or increase in energy or joint pain. The males did not show significant weight loss. However, most of the males who joined the study did not say, whenever they were asked why they joined the study, that they were looking for weight loss. A lot of them wanted dietary discipline or simply an increase in energy levels. A lot of them were the ones who exercised every day. Seniors had the most significant weight loss, and in coordination with that, 21-year-olds had the most significant weight loss. And there was a significant weight loss for both on and on campus. So it didn't necessarily matter if they were living on campus and had that availability of dining services or off campus. Those who exercised every day did not show significant weight loss, but those who exercised once or 2 to 3 times per week did show significant weight loss. And those who began the study in the normal or overweight range did show significant weight loss, but those in the obese range did not. Therefore, as I mentioned before, all of the hypotheses were demonstrated other than the blood pressure, and the short-term and long-term results were given to the participants and emphasized to those who completed the study, so that if they continued on this paleo diet, not only have they already seen some of the short-term effects, but this can really help in the long term to prevent chronic disease. And Dining Services has continued to offer paleo options. So if the students were interested or participants are interested in continuing the study, then they can. Also, this was a small convenient sample, so there is a lot of room to expand on this. We ended up with 27 students, so we did retain half of our original participants, and there is a lot of room to expand on this. And so I hope to see someone who's interested in the future. Thank you.